The Noble Audio Van Gogh. Let's talk about it. The Noble Audio Van Gogh is a single dynamic 2 Sonian BA and 1 Knowles Rad BA IM. So basically a DD plus 3. It has a magnesium aluminum diaphragm dynamic driver with dual magnetic circuit. Lots of fancy talk for a little IM with a ton, and I mean a ton of bass. But it's a very interesting tune set, and this is on loan from Noble. I talked to him at CanJam, asked if I could borrow it, and I now have it in home. I will be returning this, and this is not something that I get to keep. Having said that, I have limited amount of packaging to share with you, but let's look at what we do have. This is an absolutely tiny IEM. It has a metal nozzle. It looks and feels good in the ear, but there's really not that much to it. It's extremely tiny and easy to fit for people that are worried about IEMs like that. It has a metal nozzle. It has some interesting things with the metal nozzles I'll show you in a minute. But all around, I find this to be a very comfortable, beautiful shell. Noble Audio is known for quite a few things, but making beautiful shells, I would say, is one of their fortes. They do really good-looking products that are made in the USA, which I think is pretty neat. Now let's take a minute and look at the nozzle. If you really look in here, you can notice that it has kind of that Noble Audio symbol right there with a little bit of a crown. I think that's a beautiful touch with a nice Noble Audio looking faceplate. I dig it. I got a cute little pouch with this guy. Nothing too exciting. I also got a cable with this. This is an interesting cable. The connectors feel and look a little bit different than your normal connector. It is a thick cable that's easy to manage. The chin slider does stay in place. A nice Noble Audio branded white split, and it terminates in a 4.4 that looks and feels premium. I like the look and feel of this cable. No fault with it. So how does this IEM sound? Wild, crazy bass. It has a very, very strong V-shaped set. It has an exciting approach to sound, and I think it's interesting. It stood out at the show as an interesting IEM, but maybe not a mid-focus set. I could tell pretty quickly at the show. But this is not a studio set, but this is a very fun set that's made for a certain type of people, maybe Noble Audio fans, those that just really want a bass head style set. But it's really quite an interesting set. I don't know if it's quite in my wheelhouse, but there's something about this set. If you're a bass head, this might be something that you might want to consider, or at least demoing at a show, because oftentimes Noble Audio is at a lot of CanJams. Let's look at some graphs. You can kind of see what I'm trying to say with the sound, and then we'll go from there. All right, before we look at graphs real quick, I wanted to show you what this looks like on the Bloom Audio site. I know Bloom carries this. A few other people have it. It is in stock. It's $300. But you notice there's not a ton about the packaging, so I'm not 100% sure what it has as far as packaging goes, but I just wanted to be transparent about that. As far as we look at the graphs, this is what it looks like normalized at 800. You'll notice as we kind of make that look a little better, but this has a ton, and I mean a ton of bass, and it could come across muddy to some. It has a very unique sound. That's one of those ones that I would only tolerate for certain genres of music. If I was really looking for a hip-hop style IEM, a real bass head IEM, you'll notice this is right around where, you know, oftentimes we want our upper treble to be in line with the bass, and it's definitely that. But you'll notice, like, it has a ton of area right here. So if we normalize this at, say, 2,500, what you'll notice is there's a pretty big scoop right here to that upper mid range, and this is going to be what I call a unique set for some. I don't think it's bad. I think the treble is done quite well. I think it has nice drivers, but I also don't think for those that are looking for a neutral set that this is going to be for you. This is a very unique IEM, and it's made for a unique audience. Let's look at a few others. Let's first of all look at other Noble's IEMs. I have the Noble Night Graft and the Chronicle Graft. And let's look at the Noble Night, because the Noble Night's like about 350. And when you notice on the Noble Knight, it's kind of one of those an interesting set. It's almost referenced. It's like with a slight bass boost and quite a bit of detail. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't that great. It kind of had this big spike around 4K that just kind of drew me out of neutrality. The Van Gogh is nothing like that. You can tell by how much bass and how much 8K this has. This has a very unique sound signature, so it's different than the other IEMs that I've reviewed from Noble. Let's look now at the Chronicle. Now, the Chronicle does have another set, like the Cronus, I want to say. But there's a different set they're doing. And this set is kind of deadpan neutral. It doesn't have a ton of bass. The Chronicle is a nice set, but it's not going to be for everybody. I really enjoyed it. I got to demo it at home for quite a while. It's extremely neutral, extremely flat. It's one of those sets that I think people are going to like, but it's maybe not... I don't know. There's some aspects to it that people may or may not like, but it's very nice, very neutral, and really clean sounding set that's just gorgeous. So that's a very expensive IEM, and it's an interesting IEM to boot, as in it's very flat and neutral, a little bit less. It's a way different set than the Knight as well. So all three of these are very different, very unique. But what is this IEM like? I found two that I think give it a pretty good justice. The first one is the Fat Frequency Scarlett Mini. And what you'll notice is they both kind of start off their bass rides right around 800 and just climb like crazy. It looks like the Scarlett Mini might win a little bit in that department. The Van Gogh does have a little bit more of that presence region, but it also has way less air region, which... I don't know, you can think what you will, but I think both of these are very off neutral. You might like the Scarlett Mini a lot. You might actually like the Van Gogh if you're a bass head, and this could be a really good set for you. One set this reminded me a little bit of was the Trifecta. The Trifecta has a little bit less sub bass, but quite a bit of warmth. And they both kind of have that incisive, crazy sort of appeal. You'll notice a lot of similarities in that 8K spike. Campfire Trifecta has a different approach to it. I'm not sure if the Van Gogh is going to be like that instant cult classic that the Trifecta will have, but I would want to say if you thought the Trifecta was one of the best sets, I would definitely demo it. But this is kind of what I mean by audiophile sets. They're different, they're unique. I have experienced other sets that are similar to this, something like the NF-RG15 Assassin's Creed Mirage. NF Audio does some interesting sets that are a little bit unique and different. And it kind of reminds me of this set just a little bit. The Van Gogh has a little bit more bass. It also has a nice dip from 5 to 6K, so that doesn't get very sibilant on my ears very much, where the Assassin's Creed Mirage did feel a little bit more V-shaped and had a little bit more details and sparkles that sometimes drove me mad. All right, so how does the Noble Van Gogh sound? It's not bad, but it has really nice and fun, engaging bass. It has nice air with the nice drivers. The mids are going to be a little bit strange. Its treble's a little bit strange. Does it sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. Is it kind of a different set? Yeah, it's a really different set. So it becomes kind of an interesting, unique, different approach set that some people might listen to and think, hey, this is kind of weird. Some people might like. There's a lot of other sets out there that you might want to try instead of this guy that might be cheaper. But if you're curious about a bass headset, I think the Van Gogh represents a great value and an interesting set all around. You know, I recently got to go to Can Jam, and it's always a good experience to kind of feel what general music lovers like and what they do and what they say. This is an interesting IEM because it is different. It is unique. A lot of people who have libraries that are full of neutral, deadpan sets might like something like this, as it is a much different and very unique set. I like this set, but I do find this to be an extreme specialist. I'm curious about the packaging. If everybody knows what it looks like, let me know in the comments below. If you guys have any questions or comments about this guy, let me know. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye for now.
Go!
Go!
Go on with you!
You're mid, you're mid, you're mid, you're legendary. You're mid. Jaytis out.